And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, I'm now going to give you my predictions for the NFL playoffs right now. And I will reveal my bracket. We're going to go game by game. And then, obviously, we got the wild card games this week, divisional round next week, then the championship games. Got that week off in between. Of course, the Pro Bowl games will be in between then, and the Super Bowl will be on February 11th. So, this is how we got the... I don't know if I should reveal the bracket at the end, or... Well, let's just get through these games first. So, Browns, Texans. Texans are 2-point underdogs. This game is a coin flip for me. I like what the Texans have done this year. I mean, what the Browns have done too, with the quarterback situation has been unbelievable. Texans ahead of schedule, winning the division. C.J. Stroud, like I said, offensive rookie of the year, the favorite. But I'm going to go with the Browns in this game. I think it's going to be very close. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to come down to a game-winning field goal. But I like what the Browns have been able to do. The thing that concerns me is the Flacco turnovers, and also the fact that they didn't play each other not too long ago, and this was without C.J. Stroud. So, yeah, I'm a little worried with this, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans win. But I'm going to take the Browns here. I think C.J. Stroud is going to put up points against this Browns defense because we've seen, like we saw the Colts earlier in the season. They put up, what was it, 39 points on them? I mean, it was unbelievable. I think Stroud's going to put up points here. We're going to see some big plays from him. We're going to see some big plays from Flacco like we did the first time. I think this game could be a shootout, but I like the Browns here. I think they win, and they move on. So now we go to the late game on Saturday, the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Obviously, the weather conditions aren't the best, but I think that plays better for Kansas City here. Listen, the Chiefs' offense hasn't been great. There's been times where they've clicked. Running the football with Isaiah Pacheco, they have found success there. Rashee Rice has been productive as of late for the Chiefs. At least they found a receiver with him. Travis Kelce's looked a little off this year, but he's a little banged. He's been dealing with injuries all year. The Chiefs aren't the same Chiefs team that they've been. However, their defense, the best defense that they've had in the Patrick Mahomes era, they're at home for this game. The only teams to beat them at home in the playoffs in the Mahomes era is Tom Brady and Joe Burrow, which you can't really complain about that. So I think the Chiefs win here. I think this is a bad spot for the Dolphins, especially with the weather conditions. Now, can this game be close? Absolutely. But I think with the Dolphins dealing with a lot of injuries on defense, and I don't really trust Tua in this spot, unfortunately, against the Chiefs' defense, I think the Chiefs win this game, and they move on to the next round. So then we go to Sunday's games. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. Now, I will be rooting for the Pittsburgh Steelers for my dad, but unfortunately, I do not see them winning this game. I think this game has the potential to be close if Josh Allen turns the ball over, which I think will happen in this game. But I think especially without T.J. Watt, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough here in this spot for the Steelers. So I think the Bills win this game. It's possible it could be close, but I'm going to take the Bills here. So the Bills move on. Then we got the Packers and the Cowboys. Now, I will be rooting for the Packers in this game. And Jordan Love's been playing good football. Credit to the Packers for getting into this spot. Unfortunately, I think Dallas wins this game. I think this game could get ugly. I think this game could be close, but I feel like Dallas is going to pull away and win this game comfortably. They have played well at home all year, and I think that continues in this spot. The Packers' defense, hasn't been good. Although I will say they did a nice job the last 2 weeks, against their division rivals. But I think against the Cowboys, it's going to be tough. Like I don't. We'll see how they what their plan is for CeeDee Lamb. Jair Alexander actually got hurt in practice this week, so we got to keep an eye on his status for the game. But I think for me, you just got to focus on taking CeeDee Lamb out of the game somehow, and just let some of these other receivers beat you, which they definitely can. Brandon Cooks has been good at times this year. You kind of forget about Michael Gallup, honestly. And the Cowboys haven't run the football the best this year. But I think the Cowboys end the Packers season here, and they move on to the divisional round. All right, so now we get to probably the best game of the weekend, and that's the Rams and the Lions. Both quarterbacks going against their former teams. The Lions are the 3 seed, 3-point favorite. Rams are the 6 seed coming in. I'm going to take the Rams here. I think this game is going to be very high scoring. But I like the Rams in this game, although it's going to be very close. Both teams are going to put up a lot of points. But I'm going to take you also got to look at the coaching, too. I'm going to take Sean McVay and his playoff experience over Dan Campbell, as much as I like Dan Campbell a lot. And I do like the Lions, what they've been able to do and what they've been able to build. But I'm going to take the Rams here in an upset, and they move on to the next round. And then for the Bucs and the Eagles, as much as I want the Bucs to win, I think the Eagles, they at least for this week get back on track, and they beat the Bucs at home. The way the Bucs offense has been playing the last couple of weeks, that worries me. Listen, the Eagles, yeah, they've been a mess too. But I think the Eagles will still win this game, unfortunately. But I will. I'm going to root for the Bucs. I'm going to root for Baker to get another playoff win. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, what ends up happening now is, if we can go to my bracket here. So we're just going to have this go away for a second. So this is the bracket right here. So now we would have then the Ravens would be taking on the Browns in the next round. The Rams will be taking on the Niners. And then at the top here, you'd have the Cowboys against the Eagles, and you'd have the Bills against the Chiefs, this time in Buffalo. So you kind of already see what I laid out there. But so Ravens and the Browns. So obviously you're going to see if everything goes the way my bracket has it, you're going to have Joe Flacco taking on his old team. And that's going to be a lot of fun if that ends up happening. But I just feel like, for me, the Ravens, I think, would win that game and get themselves to an AFC Championship game. Because you got to remember also, the Ravens, they had that collapse against the Browns earlier in the season in Baltimore, and they lost that game. I think they're going to get it right this time, and they're going to pull off the win and get to the AFC Championship. And then on the top, the Chiefs and the Bills. This time it's going to be in Buffalo, and if it ends up happening. And I went back and forth with this, but I feel like that game definitely would be close, like it was earlier in the season. But I just, for me, I think the Chiefs in the playoffs, in this spot, I feel like they'd win. It would be a very close win, but I feel like they would win, get back to the AFC Championship game and take on the Ravens in Baltimore. So now we would see back-to-back road games for Patrick Mahomes. Well, we're going to see, if the Bills move and the Chiefs move on, we're going to see Patrick Mahomes on the road for the first time in the postseason. So, so then you got the Bills, you got the Chiefs and the Ravens in the championship game. That's what I have. Then on the NFC side, so you'd have the Rams and the Niners, and then the Cowboys and the Eagles. I think the Rams and the Eagles go into these respective stadiums. They've had their problems there. I mean, the Rams did just win there in Santa Clara, but that was with the backups. So now you're gonna have both teams at full strength. I take the Niners. It would be a tough game, but I take the Niners in that spot, and then I think the Cowboys would just take out the Eagles. Just because, listen, the Eagles, winning against the Buccaneers doesn't mean you're all the way back. You'd have to really prove to me that you're back if if they beat the Cowboys, if they face them. If they even beat the Bucs. But yeah, I would say the Cowboys would then beat the Eagles, and then it would set up the championship games would be the Chiefs and the Ravens, and the Niners and the Cowboys. I got the 2-1 seeds moving on. I think this is the Ravens' year to get to the Super Bowl. I'm on that train. The Chiefs have been shaky all year on offense. I just feel like this. I feel like this year's different. I think this is the year we don't see the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl, and we see a different team. And that team is the Baltimore Ravens. And then as for the Cowboys and the Niners, although the Cowboys are getting another crack at the Niners here, I still think the Niners are the better team. The Cowboys struggle on the road, and I think ultimately the 49ers, they get to the Super Bowl, and we get a rematch of the Christmas game where the Ravens dominated the Niners. Now, this pick is kind of going with my heart here. The Ravens, they kind of had that blueprint on the Niners there in the Christmas game. But I'm going to say the Niners get their revenge. And I have the San Francisco 49ers winning the Super Bowl. That's my prediction. The San Francisco 49ers, they finally get over that hump and they win the Super Bowl. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know. I have no idea. Now, what terrifies me is having the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game, because I don't want them anywhere near that. But because the NFC is so weak, I feel like they're going to get there with no problem. At least to the NFC Championship game. Now, if the Niners get knocked off somehow, Cowboys, I think, will get to the Super Bowl. But that's the team that is going to stand in their way. Now, could they surprise people and knock off the Niners? Again, anything is possible. But for me, especially this year, I think this might be that year where you're going to see. Now, the Ravens, they could beat themselves. They could beat themselves. We've seen that in some games this year. That's definitely possible. The Browns are going to give them a tough time if they face them again. If they have to play the Chiefs or the Bills, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I think ultimately they're going to get to it, and Lamar Jackson's going to be playing in the Super Bowl. And if my predictions go the way I have them here, but yeah, so that's basically my predictions. Now, for what I want to happen, I want the Bucs to win. I want the Packers to win. The Steelers to win. I still want the Niners to win the Super Bowl. Because I feel like with that group of players, they kind of deserve that. Especially with what happened last year too. I really hope that they end up holding up the trophy when it's all said and done. But yeah, I mean, that's just my predictions. I mean, is it going to go exactly like that? No. I mean, listen, the first game tomorrow, the Texans will probably win, and then it's like, all right, we're off to a great start here, But listen, really, and I always say this, I just want to see good games, Ultimately, if we get that, that's a win in my book. Well, there are teams that I want to see lose, and I don't think any of them are going to lose. I think for the most part, especially in the first round, like most of the games are going to go how you expect. Then once you get to the divisional round, that's where it's like, okay, let's see what happens here now. But yeah, at the end of the day, just hoping for good games. That's all you can ask for. So with that is all the time that we have for today. I thank you guys for watching, sticking around for the 2 shows today. I appreciate it. We'll be back again on Monday, recapping all the games from this weekend. So until then, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off once again from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day. Enjoy the games this weekend, and I'll see you next time. Take care.